Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get a new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so tonight's one is a bit of a special one. So, as you can see in the description, it is the Melbourne Storm Edition. Well, I didn't say Melbourne, I just called it the Storm Edition. But as you can see, we have some custom etching into the glass. So we have the 2020 Premiership team, Melbourne Storms. And we've also got the Premier's logo there on the side panel there. So this particular case, we're going to do it up with storm-coloured lighting for the theme. And we've got like an all-white theme going on here. White graphics card, white motherboard, all of that kind of thing tonight.
Really
so this is going to be a really, really nice build.
Corey says it's Timmy time.
Hey Corey, how you going?
Tapiri says evening to
Hey Tapiri, how you going? The hand behind the camera there. So let's go through. If you wanna zoom out, we can have a look at what we've got here. So hey Nick, how you going? Nick, how you going? Chris, how you going? Good to have you all here. So
Romy says
go the Panthers. Ah yes. Yes. Well we can do something up with Panthers. I don't
we have no bias.
We have no bias for any team. I think there's a couple my wife doesn't want me to do, but I said that I'll do any of them.
We don't service their name in this house.
Yes.
Tim, Jury says Dan, that's awesome with the etching.
Yeah, it looks good. It came up alright.
Corey says hello mate, and Jesse says hey Tim. Janice says how's things? Tim the wife. Hey.
Hey everyone. Go the Raiders. Yeah, so we'll definitely have some people from other teams calling out some shots here tonight for sure. I'll leave it up to Nathan to defend the Storm, as like I don't have any bias towards any team. So, alrighty, let's get started here tonight. Let's go through these components. So, starting with our CPU. So we've got a Ryzen 9 5900X here, which is a 12 core 24 thread CPU. So when only the best will do when it comes to our gaming PCs, we've gone with a Ryzen 5000 chip, and the 5900X is probably the best one to go with, in my opinion. So what have we got down here? So we've got some, I'll talk about that later. We've got ourselves the Asus Prime X570 motherboard. So
Yes.
I'll just turn it around so you get a
It's very nice.
bit of a look at that. It's the exact same one Christine's got on.
Yes.
So we're actually streaming to you on this motherboard right now. But we'll have a look at that a bit more when we unbox it. The star of the show tonight is this. This is an RTX 3080 ROG Stirx in white. It is the limited edition I think it's Gundam edition. I'm not familiar with the anime, so I suck, I guess.
Please school us if we're saying it wrong.
Yeah, if
and
you guys
know what it
if
is.
you guys are familiar with this anime, I haven't looked it up. I've just been so busy. But the card itself is freaking awesome. Even if you don't know what it is probably the nicest looking 3080 card that you can get. So, like I said, this is the main star of the show here tonight. Unfortunately, it'll be the last thing that we install, but definitely worth hanging around for. 500GB NVMe SSD, and then we've got a 1TB SATA SSD here, so plenty of storage space. We've got 16GB of the very fancy Trident Z Royal memory. So it has these crystals on the top there where the RGB shines through. Just be careful of where your fingers are, babe.
Take it off me then.
touching the pins.
Oh.
Don't touch the pins.
I'm sorry.
That's alright. So that's our memory there. And we've got 6 of these Lian Li ST120 fans, as well as some Lian Li V2 RGB cable extensions, including this triple 8-pin beast that's going to be used for our graphics card. So I'm going to put them down with our graphics card because that's the last thing that we kind of install. And we've got a Silverstone PF360W. This is actually the right cooler for this build, so I've actually checked that. What's that?
Jason's, does it come in black or just white? I'm assuming he's talking about the motherboard.
The motherboard or the case? Because you can, I mean, there's plenty of black motherboards out there and dark theme motherboards. The Trident Z Royal, it's recently come back into stock. It was unavailable for quite a while. It was really hard to chase down, but I'm starting to see it come back on a few retailers. So, I mean, like I said, I managed to pick up 16 gigabytes of the silver here for this build.
I've been waiting to see some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's nice, but it's a polarizing thing. It's something that you'll either love or you'll hate. So, and then yeah, obviously we have ourselves a Lian Li Dynamic 11 case in white. And what have we got around the back here? We have an 850 watt power supply. So this is an MSI 850 GF, 80 plus gold rated unit. Puts out full 850 watts on the 12 volt rail. And what are we talking? We are talking like 65 amps. I'm not going to calculate that. They don't have an easy figure for me to read out. Hey Anthony, how you going? Good to have you with us. All right, so let's make a start with our motherboard. Hey Nathan, how you going? So Nathan is the lucky owner of this rig. So what do we get in here? We've got some M2 screws, got a riser for our front panel connections, got a couple of SATA cables, a 5 volt generic to Corsair cable extension, and just our motherboard manual and optical disc. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we get here with this motherboard. Alrighty, so it's very hard to get a motherboard with a white PCB, but it's possible to get motherboards with a lot of white, silver and grey on the other parts on the motherboard. So we've got a bit of sticky on here, so there's sticky on the back, and it looks like there's sticky around the shroud here. Hey Anthony, how you going? Are you with us? Alright, so we're going to need other sticky down there. I think we do.
There's
No. No. No, it's just there. On the back there. That's definitely all of it. Hey Jordan, thanks for that, man. Appreciate it. Alright, let's have a look at this motherboard now. So we'll go around from the top all the way around. So I'm just dying a bit, you know.
Choking on your own spit or something.
Coffee making me phlegmy. And then I'm talking a lot, and then it just kind of brings it to the back of your throat there. Anyway, so we've got our 12 pins of CPU power, which obviously powers our CPU. We have, what have we got under here? So we have 14 phase power on our MOSFET BRM co-processors, all this stuff around here. So really good power delivery for our CPU on this board to support this 12 pin connector up here. COVID, be safe. No, I don't think I've got COVID. Anyway, if I do, there might be a COVID edition. Maybe I'll do something from hospital. I don't know. I'm probably making light of it, and I shouldn't. But
no, you really shouldn't.
Anyway.
Mixes Rona.
Yeah, Rona. Yeah. Got the Rona.
That's so Australian.
Yep.
The only an Aussie would come up with that.
Yeah.
Rona.
Rona. Yeah. So up the top here, we've got 3 fan headers here, all clustered together, which is what I like to see. We've got a 12 volt RGB header and another 12 volt RGB header up here. So we've only got one 5 volt RGB header on this board. Okay. Alright. That's okay. So we've got a manual power button on the motherboard. So this is a handy feature. You can turn it on and off just from pressing on the power button there. We've got our 24 pin ATX power for our motherboards. This powers pretty much all the other stuff on our motherboard. We've got our USB-C front panel connection, which we'll be utilising for this case. Around here we've got 6 SATA ports in the horizontal position. Down here we've got our front panel connection, and like I said, our 5 volt RGB header. It's the token one on this board. We've also got 3 more fan headers all clustered together in a group there, which is what I like to see. Not really much room to run cables down there without taking the top off, and I don't really want to do that. So probably won't be utilising that fan at all. That header will go unpopulated, so we're just going to use these 3 and these 3. Alright, no worries, don't mind me sort of talking to myself and making mental notes about how I'm going to build this PC. It's just part of my mental process. So down the bottom here, we've got this little header here. This is the TPM 2.0 header, so this is the header that the little chip that you need for Windows 11 will plug into. This one down here.
Hang on a second. Question.
Yeah.
Do all motherboards have that?
All modern motherboards, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're buying a modern computer, a modern motherboard, you'll
Yeah.
have TPM. It's just some of the older boards have an older standard, and the older standard is not. It has to be the newest standard. Yeah. So anyway, for this that's the correct one there. Anyway, we've got our USB 3, we've got 2 USB 2.0s there. What have we got down here? We've got temp sensor pin, COM port debug pins, and obviously a single COM port there. We've got our front panel audio connection there, and I didn't see a clear CMOS. Where's your clear CMOS, babe?
I don't know, you just made me think. I was like, huh? I don't know.
Surely I've had to clear the CMOS on yours before. Ah, there it is. It's hiding. It's hiding on the other side of the USB, of the SATA ports rather. So I looked around here, and then I turned the board back up here, and I didn't see these two pins sitting right there.
Jason wants to know how many boards have a power button on them.
Ah, yeah, so it's more of an enthusiast feature. So it's for people who might be running it in an open case. Yeah. People who are running it on like a test bench or something like that, like what I do. I've always got a PC ready on an open board that I can use at any time. So that's a handy feature to have. For me, and like the rationale of picking a board to use as a test bench, I'm not going to pay extra for a power switch, because all I have to do to turn the motherboard on is just go down there and touch these two pins here with my screwdriver. That's all I have to do to turn the motherboard on. So I don't really need a button there. I can just touch the two pins, which I know are always these two pins, and that will turn the computer on. So yeah, you don't really need it. It's more of a, hey, like my motherboard's got a power button.
Fancy.
Some motherboards have a clear CMOS button, so you don't have to press on the pins. But then, you know, sometimes what some people do, if they're overclocking and they're that sort of user, they hook the reset button on their case up to the clear CMOS header, and then whenever you press reset, you're clearing the CMOS. So anyway, a little bit sidetracked there. So all of our audio is around the side here, and obviously our audio connections on the rear I/O as close as possible to all that.
Mixes with your flash screwdriver.
Flash screwdriver.
Show it off.
This is the V2, I guess we can say. All right, so we've got single gigabit Ethernet. We've got three USB 3.1 on this board, not 3.2. Or am I going to be pleasantly surprised? I am pleasantly surprised. 6 USB 3.2s, including one Type-C. Then we've got a DisplayPort HDMI port, which won't be in use for this build. So as I always do, I'm going to put a little plug in there, and
No plug.
yes.
No, don't use that.
No. You will have a bad time having an anxiety attack about your computer not working. And then you'll have to call me and I'll be like, no, it's fine, just plug in your graphics card. Anyway, 2 more USB 3s and a PS2 around there. And then that brings us to this final bit of the motherboard. So it looks like what have we got? Is that 2 TPM headers on this board? I might actually look that up. This is your motherboard. You should know this.
Hey! Bugger off.
I'm just teasing. Anyway, the rest of this board here. So one feature I'll point out that is pretty cool is we have 6 PCIe slots. So including 3 full-length X16 slots. So we've got an X16, an X8, and an X4, and then 3 X1 slots there. So really well equipped there for our PCIe system. So this board, if it was cheaper, would be popular with the cryptocurrency miners, because they'd be able to hook up 6 graphics cards through there. So that would be a popular feature. And they could actually do 8 if they utilize the M2, depending on the configuration of M2 versus some of these X1 slots. Sometimes if you're using an M2, you might actually lose one of these X1 slots. or sometimes this X8 slot might not function as X8 if like both NVMe drives are plugged in. There's some weird shit like that that can go on with that, because fundamentally all these ports and the M2 all communicate through the same system. They're all exactly the same. This M2 slot is X4, the same as this bottom slot. Even though they look completely different, they are actually the same thing. That's just the pin out on the connector that's different. The pins go to the same place and talk the same language essentially. So, and then the only other thing we haven't spoken about is under here. So this is where our chipset fan is. This is where our X570 actually lives. And an X570 gets pretty warm, especially when you put a high-powered CPU with it. So it's got a little bit of a fan there that only comes on when it's needed. So if you see it not turning, it probably doesn't have to turn. So it's not an always on thing, because, well, some of you might know, some of you might not know, but like small fans don't last as long as sort of bigger fans, and they're sort of noisier, and all of that comes into play. So yeah, they try to set these to run as efficiently as possible by default. Anyway, so that is a bit of a rundown on this motherboard. So I just have to look up what those two ports are, because one looks distinctively like TPM, and the other one kind of does, but it could be something else. Sometimes you never know, different boards will have different features. So,
well, maybe you should really know, because you're the one
I
who
know.
bought it for me.
Yeah, well, chuck it back onto me.
Yeah, well, nah.
Yep. No, well, when shopping for a shopping for a motherboard for someone, I'm not like,
Yeah, I know.
I'm not
Like,
necessarily
this is
going to
the
read
nicest board I
every
can
single detail of the specifications. I just check the things that it has to have, and then the other things I don't care if it has that or not. So it's like, you know. All right. So we've got the heatsink on the bottom, so we're going to use this bottom slot here for our M2 drive. And then we can easily add another one in this top slot if we ever want to.
Tim,
Yeah.
Justin wants to know what CPU is for this build.
This is a Ryzen 5900X. So 12 cores, 24 threads. It is a awesome CPU. You can't ask for anything better right now, and we'll see what Intel 12th Gen looks like for single core performance, and then we'll see how that works with big little. That will be an interesting thing to see. Oh, let's not screw that one in yet. Let's put an M2 drive in there first. That might actually work a bit better, I think. Alright, so here is our crucial P1 500GB NVMe SSD, just this little tiny chip, and we're just going to slot that in here. It just goes in on an angle, and we'll put down a single screw. Just to fasten it down. And we'll put this heat sink back on it. It's more of a heat spreader than a heat sink. So, very good. Alright, so let's put in this very, very fancy memory.
Mm-hmm.
That was really weird. There we go. I almost want to remount that just because I feel like that's the kind of mount that causes it not to boot up. That felt better. Okay. So nice and easy there with our memory. So now let's do the CPU. The so-called brains of the operation. Even though a CPU wouldn't even know how to do maths without its maths coprocessor, a little insignificant little chip on the motherboard.
So,
Yeah.
Robbie wants to know who picked the memory. You, client, or you?
I think I did for this build. Oh.
Trident Z Royal.
Yeah, Trident Z Royal, you can get it in gold and you can get it in silver. Alright. So we've got our CPU, we've got our memory, we've got our M2 drive, we've got a SATA SSD we'll install later. So now, let's get this cooler done. Yeah, so this one we have to do, babe, we have to do this one with 3 independent RGB lines.
Why?
We need to be able to change the colours to Melbourne Storm themed colours.
There's a certain pattern that has to be in though, doesn't it?
What?
The colours. Like, you know.
I'm gonna get Nathan to advise sort of what he likes when we set it up, but we're gonna give him the capacity of running like each group of fans independently. So if he wants to run them on like a different colour, he can.
Because mine's like, you know, they're
Yeah. So Melbourne Storm is like gold, navy blue and purple. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The fans on the side will have the yellow and we'll do the colours at the top. And then I was going to keep all of the motherboard RGB on white. Yeah. Because all teams use like white for like the home, either the home uniform or the away uniform or whatever.
This is, that will be black, red and yellow with red. Justin says, who let the dogs out? Yeah, whenever they hear a siren, they like to, howl.
Yeah, we got like the alarm bells.
Is what we're doing helping?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just funny. I feel sorry for the direct neighbours though. They'd be loud.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's get this big bag of crap, bag of nonsense as I call it. Got a fan splitter. I'm going to use that. I'll plug that straight into the motherboard now. Going to need it. Actually, no. I'm gonna keep this one as a reserve because we've got 2 packets of Lian Li fans and they have 6 fan. They come with a 6-fan fan controller. So we're gonna be sweet. LGA 2011. We'll just chuck that away straight away. Intel backplate. We don't need that. We just need this AM4 backplate, or not backplate, the mounting plate, I should say. Some kind of plate. Alright, so we want to chuck it on that way, and we can remove the sticky there. Just to stop it getting scratched too much, keep it as smooth as possible from factory. And we've got a Molex to fan connector. So we've got a splitter cable for the RGB. And here's our bolts. Alrighty. So, we need some of this stuff, but not all of it. We need a couple of these. We do need these. Yeah.
Squeaky seat.
See, I'm waiting for someone to just buy me a new seat.
Why don't you just buy yourself a new seat?
Why don't I buy myself new clothes? Because I don't buy myself things like that.
Well, maybe you should just give me some money and be like, go buy me some stuff. Well, go buy some stuff.
Maybe I should.
Maybe you should.
Yeah.
Probably says on charge it onto my PC when I order it. Justin says he needs an AK racing seat bad.
Oh mate, I would love a racing seat. That would be choice.
Dylan says I'll give you a seat for a PC and a cat.
I don't know, man.
Cat? You said cat? Here is cat.
Cat, you're in the middle of a construction site.
He's like, oh fuck. There's no room for me to sit.
Am I not sitting back in my seat? Could you not jump on my lap?
No.
Okay. Yes, I'm gonna mount it like this because I don't want anything obstructing the Trident Z Royal. See, normally I do it the other way, just simply because I'd rather have the air flowing out the back, but it doesn't really matter in this case. You can do it either way. It's not really going to have an impact either way. But I think that'll be nicer for this build. Ah, yes, you can read my shirt. There we go.
It says, yeah, that cat. It only says meow.
Yep. Alright. So we've got everything sorted down here, so now we can turn our attention to the case. So now do you want to put these bits of glass somewhere safe?
I'll go put them on the bench.
Like extra safe? Yeah.
No, actually, I'll put them in the closet. How about put them in the closet?
Why? Just put
So
it.
the cat doesn't jump on it, maybe? You know, he likes to go on the bed.
It is out. Can't really see it very well through my jump. I'll try and. It's got the player listings, the reserves at the bottom.
No. Back her off. Let's see.
Awesome. So now we can turn our attention to this case. We've got a heap of fans to mount to it. So I'm going to get rid of these SATA trays. We don't need them. We do have a SATA SSD, but we're going to mount that around the back. Likely to be never used. So I'm happy to just put this in my normal spot. Okay. Okay, so we want to mount this down here. Perfect. Use my broad top screws here. Oh, well, that doesn't quite fit. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's gonna come up a treat. What else? Yeah.
Says hi, how are you? Anything good happening to you today? Good job at 150 subs.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate that.
How much is it for a good PC that can run games with good FPS and good graphics and storage?
Well, I guess that all depends on what you define as good. We'll just use a spacer. How about that? Oh, what am I doing? They've got capacity just to do it out there. I don't even need to use this tray. I should know that. Like, I build in this case all the time. I'm just so used to solving random problems that I just find random problems to solve. Okay.
I think there's problems.
Oh well.
I guess that's kind of a good thing,
Yeah,
right?
I guess. It's fun for people watching it live. Okay, so easy to mount it here. Go back to my original screws that I was going to use that will work perfectly right here. Sweet. So that's our SSD mounted there, and that just sits in like that. You won't even see it. So I'm going to put that down there for now. What's that? Oh, I thought you were about to point at something on the screen.
No.
just the way you moved then.
I'm sorry.
No, that's alright. What? Oh, no, you can do that. That's one that you always peel off. I never peel that off. I always forget. So we're going to use that controller, and use these screws because they're nice and easy to screw in. Can I open 3 at once? Not quite how I wanted to, but... I know.
What are you doing?
I'm just tired. Very tired. What?
What?
Oh, I'm gonna hear something later.
Oh dear.
Okay, so these fans here on the bottom are going to be like upside down as such. You'll see the back of the fan, but that's intentional because these fans are going to be drawing in cool air from the bottom, and we're going to be exhausting heat out the top. Oh yes, you know how I feel about that. Anxiety levels rise. Mother-in-law's sharpening knives downstairs.
What are you gonna do? Like, oh my god. You'd be a photo.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It catches me when it guards down. You know, you can kill someone really easily, stabbing them in the back in the right spot.
Oh, you're so paranoid. You watch
My
too many
mind-
murder stuff, eh? Seriously.
Constantly vigilant. Constant vigilance. All right. Okay, and just like that, I'm 33% done screwing in the case fans. Yeah. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers. Yeah. Yeah, I want to buy viewers. Yeah, that makes total sense, right? From a business perspective. I'm going to buy viewers so that I can get freaking affiliate or some shit. So I can earn like probably less than what I paid for the viewers. Just to, if that person is actually watching, that's what we all think of shit like that.
I really don't think
I don't think so. It's a bot, for sure. So,
you get this really focused.
yeah, I know.
So like,
It's my Guitar Hero stance. I have to really focus on that as well. I can do it alright, but playing on expert, some of those songs are pretty freaking crazy. Now I'm going to do a better job of opening all three of them at once.
say that now.
See? Okay. Alright, so I like to decouple these because I'm going to mount them to the internal side. Are they Olympics people?
Yeah, they've been getting really excited about stuff today. Tonight.
Alcohol is
I'm
flowing.
assuming it's Olympics. Like, there's no other sports playing tonight, is there?
Oh, who knows what's happening in like soccer land or something. I don't know.
Sports world. What's going on in sports world tonight?
Yeah. What can you tell a nerd like me? What's up?
Haven't seen anything.
We are now 66% of the way through the screwing. Why am I missing 2 bolts? Oh, here's some I prepared earlier. Sweet. Okay. So we're gonna hook these up in separate lines of RGB. So how we're gonna do this is we're gonna use, because we've only got one 5-volt header on our motherboard. So we'll actually use these controllers. Yeah, I'd sort of like to make the controllers accessible through this thing here. I want to make this like a handy hole where you can press down to change the lights up here. You can see that. So I want to put the controllers up there, and then we'll have full control of our lights. So controller number 1. Yeah. Yeah, they're good. They came up really nice. Alright, so all we need to do is find the other one like this. Here we go. I don't think I've ever used one of these Leon Lee fan controllers. I never have to, because if I'm building a Leon Lee PC, I've always got like a really high-end motherboard with plenty of RGB headers and all that, and usually we just chain them up through a single header. But yours is a bit different. Yours has got Corsair.
It's still frustrating. I still have to use Allo Crate and Corsair.
Have you seen double-sided tape?
I haven't seen
There
that.
is. There is a piece, a little piece. It's all I need, a little piece. And there's a piece around here recently. I just left it on the I left it on my bench, so I knew I was going to use it.
I didn't touch it. You lost it.
Possibly. No, there's a roll of it around here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of double-sided tape off the back of this fan controller. Scissors, have you seen scissors? Ah, here's my piece of double-sided tape that I was talking about. Looking for the scissors to cut this bit. Well, that can go back on that fan controller then. Just do a couple of builds and there's so much crap here. Do you have something? Do you have a knife?
Oh, I didn't get scissors.
Nah. I want to do this. Yeah, sweet. Okay. So I'm going to put some tape down on these controllers. And we're just going to mount these up here. So, number one, make sure they go the same way around. And number two. And then we will keep this rubber grommet here free, and then we can just stick our hand through. Or we can just take the back panel off. That's going to be nice and easy to control our lighting. And so now we've got the 6 Leon Lee fans to hook up the back. So we're looking pretty good out here. And so we've just got the RGB from the cooler and the cooler fans, which will hook up to the addressable header. We don't want to have 3 independent controllers. That would be just painful. 2's bad enough. I only wanted to have 1. I thought we had 2 RGB headers on this board. Well, we do, but like 12 volt ones. That's not much good to me. Do you think maybe if I just cut off one of the pins there, it'd be a 5 volt?
No.
Sorry. It's like bad advice. It's like, gee, hi, Jose. Alright, let's mount our radiator and motherboard. So it's going to be nice and easy. We've got a standard ATX board, we've got standard ATX offsets. So I'm going to lay the case down here quickly. Let's keep these ones separate. Alright, it's going to stay like that. Sweet. Okay, so let's get mounting this motherboard. And then we'll get the cooler on there, and then we'll start hooking everything up.
There we go. Last one. Okay, so I might
hook up that CPU power connector. This will be a little bit tight up here. Won't be too bad, but it will save me a bit of a struggle. We're not going to install the power supply just yet, but we will install some CPU cables. CPU. PCIe. 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 More PCIe. CPU. Hey, at least we got 3 PCIe cables for our triple 8-pin card. It's going to be sweet. Okay, so we need 12 pins of CPU power here. Plug in that first 8-pin. You want to split it apart here. So pull it back enough so that cable is not sticking out there. And then you can plug it in just next to the other one. There we go. That CPU fan is in. We want to also install a fan controller. So let's make that happen. Okay, so let's plug this one into. Lift it back up right. I have to loosen this bolt slightly. So we're just going to run this little fan header behind the motherboard. This top one here is the CPU fan. So plug that controller into there. And so now we can turn our attention to the radiator and get that mounted.
Okay. There we go. So starting to take shape.
So now we've got a whole heap of cables out here to sort through. So we're going to power our pump with Molex. And so the way we're going to configure this fan controller is I'm going to chuck it just going to stick it to the wall in here. Okay, so we've got these 3 fans from up the top here. I'm going to plug them into our controller. tired. Okay, so we've got those three hooked up, so I think we'll plug in, I think we'll use these three fans on the side. We'll plug the fans into the controller here. Okay. So now we have these RGB cables to hook up. I want to run these up the top here because they need to plug in to these two controllers. So first I want to plug 3 into 1, the right 3. So I'm using a few more zip ties than I do normally because I've got cables sort of going all around the place. And so in this situation, a few cables keeping things like tied together generally makes it a bit easier to deal with. Okay, so now we've got the bottom Leon Lee RGB fans. So I'm thinking maybe they go on this side of the power supply, stashed away in the side there. And as for these three fans, these three fans are all going to get plugged into the bottom of our motherboard.
feed the headers back through. Alrighty. So I need to loosen a couple more bolts to get this cable pulled down. Go. Okay. Sweet as. So that's looking pretty good down there. So we need any USB 2? I don't think we do. We'll need USB 3 though. No, that's not going to help me either. That has got to be the worst spot on this motherboard to mount this.
geez, that's borderline of what I'm comfortable with. But what else are we going to do? Oh. Alright, let's hook up this RGB cable. There we go. Excellent. It's looking good. Alright. What else we need? We need a SATA cable. Okay, so we'll plug that into this port here, and that will be more or less hidden by our graphics card. Okay, so we've got all of our fans connected, we've got our pump hooked up, we've got our front panels, RGB, fans, USB 3 just, front panel audio. Yeah, we're all looking. Power supply in place. How are we doing for time? Pretty good. Hour 40. We're nearly done. Okay, so let's prep our power supply. I think we'll probably just plug everything into this one. There's our ATX power for the motherboard. So obviously, let's not forget to plug in our CPU power.
So this power supply has like designated CPU ports and designated graphics card ports. I thought they were generally the same pinout, but let's not take any chances at all. Now we've got 3 PCIe cables. Alright, so there's those 3 stay together. And what have we got here? 4 SATAs. We can just get away with 1 SATA. And 1 Molex. I'll put the other SATA cable in as well, just so if we want to add something else, we'll be right, because we need the 4 SATAs on there. Alright. Oh, shit. Good one. There it is. Bloody hell. Wrecking the joint. Okay. Luckily I didn't spill the screws that I needed. There it is. So we'll just tape these up because these connections are a bit weak. Okay, let's sort out all of this crap. So, tie these Molex up and we'll put them in the hard drive tray. Just like that. And then we're going to get our Molex connector for our radiator. We're going to plug it in without getting our wires crossed. Which is easier said than done when you're dealing with this much cables. Okay. Tie up all the SATA cables. Stash them under there. Got one coming out there, which is good. Then we're going to need our actual SATA power devices. Okay, so we've got 3 of them. So one can get plugged into that one there. One can get plugged into that one there. Of course you're around the wrong way, so let's twist you around. Whew. Okay, there we're left with 3 PCIe cables and our motherboard power cable. That's alright. Of course, we've got our SATA data and power for our SSD. So, like I said, we're nearly done. We just need to install our graphics card and hook up our power. So this is the part everyone's been waiting for, the graphics card. Got me through the Lian Li dynamic build process. Oh, I ripped the box. That's okay. Strix. Oh, white foam. Some cable ties, won't need them. Oh. Oh, baby. Look at that. I guess 1 out of 3 ain't bad. I don't want to scuff anything up with my nail. I'm actually getting pretty warm. I'm going to have to change my shirt. There we go. That's a bit cooler. They put little plastic tabs on the fans, but it didn't pull the stickies off. The tabs just ripped off. Oh, this is really bad. They're off those two.
Oh. It's like I don't want to scratch.
Look at this.
There you go. Fucking hell.
Bloody hell. Okay, so there will be more around here.
really hate doing this, eh? But
It's me.
you got excited when I ripped that all off as one piece. Yeah, we're not done.
So,
Yeah.
he says, what the hell is that? Damn fine. It says this is
I will show you. Do you want to maybe show people in a bit more detail? Because it's an absolute beauty.
Jesus.
It's all metallic paint. Cheers. Alrighty. So let's remove oh, we get white plugs. I can replace these black plugs in the back of the motherboard with white plugs. It's a small touch, but let's do it. Yeah.
He says that must be an expensive car.
It's not too bad. You can get these for about $2,900. So it's not like $4,000 or anything. So it could be worse.
Catch.
Yep. Australian cricket team for me. So I'm going to take these black panels out of here and chuck white ones in their place. There we go. All white panels around the back. That looks better. Okay, let's get our RTX 3080. The most beautiful 3080 I've seen. Oh, look, there's more sticky around here. None over there.
Nothing down there? No? Alright. There we go.
No Australian cricket team.
Nah, man. I got invited to try out, but failed the trials. Alrighty! One graphics card installed. So, it's time for some RGB power cables. Alright, so first we got our 24 pin ATX power for the motherboard. So, I reckon down obviously here to oh no, that is in. It's like, why isn't that going in? It's already in. So we'll bring that one up the top here. There we go. So it'll go in like that. And now we've also got a very similar looking one, but also fundamentally different. We had our 24 pin here, now we've got our 3x8 pin. Now if you remember back to grade 2, you'll know that 3x8 is 24. But don't get these two mixed up. You'll have a bad time. Just like I'm gonna have a bad time getting these plugged in, I think. Let's see how we go. Oh, not off to a good start, very shaky. Oh, two in. Can we get the other 6 in the next 2? Yeah. Get the other 6. This is the hardest ones. Oh yes, we've got all 24 in place. That one wasn't quite done. That's looking pretty in there. Click. That's what we like to hear. And then, in terms of where we're going to route it, so I'm thinking of routing it underneath the bottom fans. So what we'll do is we'll move the fans slightly up. Will I get it through there? I don't think I will. No, I think we're gonna have to run them. Just run it to there. Twist it at the end. Just Just try to stick it through because we can play around with it as it's plugged in. Yeah, sweet. Okay. So we're going to be tying back these graphics card power cables. Okay. So we need this other controller, unfortunately, for the RGB strips. Daisy chain them in. It's a pretty solid connection there, but we'll tape it down anyway.
Hmm? This controller doesn't have the right pin out to hook up. The fuck? Well, that's shit. Am I like missing something? They gave me 2 controllers. Duh. I'm like, are you serious? They're giving me... Oh no, this one. This one fits both right. Ah, okay, I get it now. This one is just the standard one that comes with the motherboard 24 pin, but then if you buy the 8 pin PCIe one, oh, and what, now we can't. But we can't address it. Oh no, here we go. That'll do it. Well, that's a shame. I just finished doing that. We're going 2 hours and 20 minutes and we're about to fire up. It's alright. Okay. Okay. So now it's time to see if she actually works. Do I have to do a return order on the graphics card? That'll be fun if I have to do that. Can you imagine? Windows USB, and let's plug some power in. Power on. Very sexy. Oh, that new power supply smell. Whoa. Just feeling, making sure the pump's functioning properly. I'm gonna need a mouse.
They're nice and cool. Alrighty, let's get this underway. Alrighty, now you can have some internet. Okay. Alright, because Armory Crate causes me so much grief, I'm going to have a quick break and get something to eat. And I'm going to get these Windows updates plus Armory Crate downloading while I don't do anything else. So I'll be back soon. Let me know if it catches fire or anything.
Alright, how's it looking? Is it stalled? That looks a bit stalled. Still reckons it's doing something. ROG Live service. Oh, it's doing something sweet. Sweet, it's not going to fail. So let's get all this stuff installed. Okay, what have we got? No WD. Ryzen Master. There we go. We made it.
got a bit of a flicker. Oh. Shit, my bad. You can tell I'm really tired tonight. Alright. Let's set up MSI Afterburner. Alright, so this is for the on-screen display here, so F10 toggles it, F11 turns it on, F12 turns it off. Okay, that's all set up.
What's wrong? You found it? Alright, let's disable all these annoying things that turn on automatically when we open the computer. Don't need a lot of crap opening up. Okay. Let's enable momentum cache and reboot the system. Okay, let's set up our other SSD. Yep, everything's looking good. Yeah, mate, we're just finishing up these updates, which are always fun. But this is all shit you don't have to worry about. Alright, sweet. Sweet. And we can reboot. Get our memory running at full speed. Yeah, mate, all the fun stuff. There's been a lot of problems with this update that it's doing now. So believe me, you're lucky to have me deal with it, as opposed to having it stuff up on you and yeah, being left with Windows updates no longer working properly. Okay. So there'll be a couple of little cumulative updates here that come through once the main 21H1 edition is applied. And just these two here. Alright, so they're all installed, so we have a fully up-to-date system. Alright. So what's a 5900X capable of? Out of the box. No overclock. Go submit and compare. While we do that, let's do a speed test on our SSD.
Alright. So as we can see there, top of the pack. And multi-thread, like for like, it's top of the pack. Even keeps up with CPUs with significantly more cores and threads. So it's beating this 40 thread Intel CPU. And there's our SSD speeds, nice and fast. And so let's run Heaven now.
And so this number here below RAM, that's the frames per second, so that looks fucking wicked. And we haven't even put the glass back on or anything. It's getting a bit late. I'm not going to run the stress test tonight. I'm too tired. So what I'll do is I'll do that tomorrow. And then I'll get my lovely wife to take a heap of photos of it with the glass on. But it should look sick. The etching on the glass should catch the light because it's like not clear. The light can't pass through the etching, so it should make the etching like kind of glow. So that should be really, really cool. And so yeah, the camera probably doesn't quite do it justice here, but we've got navy blue on the strips and on the top fans. We've got gold on the side fans, and we've got purple on the bottom fans there. So all storm colours there. So as you can see there, CPU doesn't have to do much work here. Yeah, Corey, more on tomorrow night. Plenty of builds coming up. Everyone's getting their tax money back now, so I got so many quotes to catch up on. I'm so sorry to anyone who's waiting. It's just, ugh. I sit down and like reply to everyone, catch up, and then I'll go away for a few hours and I get like another 15 messages. It's just a bit ridiculous. Alright, so that was heaven on the out of the box settings. So next we'll run Valley on max settings. So anti-aliasing up, quality up. Alrighty. So we'll do the 4K one, and we won't like actually do the stress test, but we'll just have a quick run in Cinebench and laugh at how ridiculous it is and how much of a mockery 5900X makes of the benchmark. Although one day someone might order a Threadripper 3990X 64 cores, 128 threads. That makes more of a mockery of Cinebench than this. So as you can see, 3080 is comfortable 100 plus frames a second gaming at 4K. This is using DirectX 12, this benchmark. The other two are using DirectX 11, if you're interested. So it's not only 4K, but it's a different rendering engine. So the other two are kind of similar. That's why I run them on different settings. This one's like totally different. And there are other ones and stuff, but they take longer to install, and like 3D Mark's good, but that's via Steam, and I don't want to have to mess around with getting into that. I could, it's on my SSD. It's on this. But have to install it, there's probably updates. It's not worth it. These ones are fine just for a quick run, a quick demonstration on how the system performs. You probably can't see the stats, but this is now seeing 12 out of 17. So it's nearly done. Alright, smashed it. There's our SSD read and write speeds. And where's hyper monitor? Alright, so I'm not going to stress test it tonight, but we are going to have a quick look. There's our 12 cores and 24 threads. These 24 boxes, these blue boxes, you can see the blue boxes here in this image. Hard at work calculating this image. It's our 3080. Not doing much with this. This is a CPU workload. Our memory, running at XMP. Our storage SSD and our NVMe SSD. So you're not even getting hot. Could be overclocked and all that if you wanted to, but you really don't have to. You're going to get awesome gaming performance with this. You don't need to overclock or do anything. Sweet as. Well, look, because I'm not going to do a stress test tonight, I'm going to leave it here. So if anyone's got any final questions before I sign off for the night, now is your chance to speak. No, that looks like it. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to post a heap of photos of this tomorrow with the panels on and all that. Like I said, I'm going to get my lovely wife onto that. She's a bit of a photographer. If you see good photos on my page, it's taken by her. If you see shit ones, it's taken by me. That's how that goes. So she'll take some awesome photos of it, and yeah, you'll get a better look at it than through the camera. Because yeah, as I always say, the camera here doesn't do it justice. It looks better in real life. So anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.